How is everybody doing today? I hope you guys are having as great of a weekend as I am. It's been like a week since the event, or 2 weeks maybe. I'm gonna try and get some stuff done today that I really need to get done on the car and off the car. My next thing that I'd like to have in the car for the next event, if I can do it, would definitely be getting that roll bar in so I can use my harnesses. I have a friend in town that's really good with a welder, and he said if I can get the whole thing prepped and ready to go, then he can just weld the cage in for me, which is super good news because I didn't want to have to pay some weld shop or something, some crazy amount of money. In order to do that, that means we have to prep and clean the interior of the car. So what I want to try and get done today is finish gutting out the rest of the, pretty much from the seats back, all the plastics and all the little, like I got the main carpet and the seats out, but I want to get all the side plastic trim covers and like just pretty much everything from the seats back just to metal. And then I got to run to the store and get some dry ice, and we're going to try and pull up some of this sound deadening so we'll have a nice clean metal surface to weld onto. However, there is one thing that I would actually like your guys' opinion about, and if you could post it in the comments down below so I know what you guys think, that would be super appreciated. So I have the roll cage, and I got it for a pretty good price, and I think it looks really cool, and I love to run that in the car so I can use that as a harness bar. However, the only thing that I'm having second thoughts about is in the future, if I want to go to a full cage setup so I can start, you know, running A-class and doing tandems, if I get good enough, hopefully, then we're going to have to either cut this cage out and weld a new one in, or see if somebody can add on to this cage. And I'm just honestly not too sure how difficult of a process cutting out a cage and smoothing it and re-prepping the surfaces for a new cage is. I don't know if it would be worth it more for me to just try and sell the half cage and just buy a harness bar for now that bolts on, so that way when I'm ready to upgrade to a full cage, I can just unbolt the harness bar and they can go put a new cage in without having to worry about, you know, a previous cage and previous plates, having to like grind it down and cut out the old welds and everything. So I'm not sure how big of a process it is to cut out a cage with welds and plates and re-put a new one. I'm assuming it's not easy. Scratch that. It might be a little easy. It seems pretty straightforward, but it's probably very time consuming. So I'm just thinking ahead. Of course, I would love to have this half cage. I think it looks super cool. I could get it painted. It would like match the interior. It would be like, it would look super cool for the time being, but a year from now, I'm gonna probably be cutting it out for a full cage, and I'm just not sure which route I should go. So if you guys have any insight on welding and cages and cutting out cages and whatnot, just leave me a comment down below and tell me if you think I should just go ahead and put the cage in and leave it for a year and have fun with it until I'm ready to upgrade, or if it's just not worth the trouble of when I do get a cage having to cut that out, if I should just go out and get a harness bar. So with all that being said for today, that's what I plan on doing with the car. I would also love to give it a wash because it hasn't been washed since the event, and it is still super filthy from being out in the rain. But one of my bigger concerns, and this was probably the biggest issue I had at the drift event, and it wasn't even with the car. It was with the trailer, kind of. So when I was loading and unloading my car, the trailer that I bought came with steel ramps, but they're only like 3 feet. And I tried jacking the front of the trailer up as high as I could and getting the ramps on, and I still had this really nasty little like lip to get over, like where the trailer meets the ramp, and the car would just bottom out. And essentially I had to go drive the car and trailer around the event to find this, you know, little perfect hill that I'd be able to prop the ramps up on and drive the car up on this hill and drive it across smoothly. This is how I did it here. I don't know if you can tell, but this little bit of a bump right here that separates this road from that road. I actually had the truck and trailer parked right here and the car parked up here to just give it that little bit more of a leveling for the ramps. And it was just really a pain to have to go find all these really specific places to load up, and it was just, honestly, it was kind of embarrassing how bad I was struggling to get this thing off the trailer at the event. I didn't get any video of it, thank God. I hope nobody else did, because we were out in the pouring like monsoon rain, and yeah, it was pretty embarrassing. So to remedy that, rather than buying new ramps, which I definitely could have done, which would have cost me probably upwards of like $300 or $400 just for the ramps, and then if I wanted to get them hinged on and whatnot, you know, it's just it'd be a lot of money. So what I'm gonna try and do, not sure if it's gonna work, but I really have high hopes. I went out and I bought a bunch of 2x10 boards, and what I've done was cut them to size pretty much in increments of shrinking feet. So I have one board that's 6 feet, and then one board that's 5 feet, and then 4 feet, and 3 feet, and 2 feet. And I'm gonna try and layer them on top of each other, kind of staggered, to kind of make a ramp that I'll be able to slide underneath the ramps I already have on the trailer. So in theory, it'll extend the trailer ramps about 5 or 6 feet and give them about 10 inches more of lift to kind of balance it out. Not sure if it's gonna work. I saw some things on the internet. We're gonna just go ahead and try it. All the wood together, I think, cost me like 50 bucks. So if it works, I just got, you know, brand new race ramps for 50 bucks. And if not, then we'll figure something out. But fingers crossed this works. I really feel like this will. I think it's a good idea. But I just wanted to show you guys, when I do bolt this one down, I'm gonna leave a little bit of a gap right here, so that way my trailer ramps that I already have can kind of sit right here and lock, so that way it prevents these from moving back and forth when the car's driving up them. Mom just stopped by to take Hunter for the weekend. I'm gonna miss him. Ramps are done. Next we're just gonna go over, I just gotta clean out the car a little bit. We're gonna pull out some of the paneling and then off to Publix right across the street. That guy. And we're gonna go get some dry ice, and we're gonna try and pull up the sound deadening. I've never done it before. I've watched other people do it, but never personally done it, so hopefully it all works out fine. Alright, so I just finished up getting all the rest of the interior out. Wish I had a big scale that I could find out how much weight I was actually pulling out of the car, but this is what it looks like now. I always had the carpets out, but now I got all of this side paneling out, all the way up to the front right there behind the passenger and driver door. I'm super excited for this thing to finally be looking more like a race car, because that's what I'm building it to be, is just pretty much strictly a track car. However, it also makes me kind of sad. When I first got this car, probably like 4 years ago, it was like in immaculate condition. It had all the interior was completely like intact with like every bolt in it. It had all been like reupholstered. All the seats were in great condition, new carpet. The only flaw was the cracks in the dash, but other than that, it was almost completely factory besides the gauges. And it had the motor swap in it already, and it was just such a perfect car. It was before the paint started to peel and the clear coat got all messed up, but it was such a super nice car. I almost feel bad for ripping it apart, but this car is going to be built for function, not for style. But I'm going to try to make it look as best I can still. All right, so just got back home. Had to go to Lowe's to get had to get a bucket to mix this stuff and crush it down in, and a scraper to make pulling this stuff off easier. I don't know how hard it's going to be to actually get this stuff off once the ice sets in. It's supposed to make it a lot easier, so hopefully it is like super easy and I can just like kind of peel it off. And luckily Publix had dry ice, so I got some dry ice and some isopropyl alcohol, because I guess that's supposed to help with like sublimation, and it makes the, if you crush the ice up, it just kind of makes it into like a kind of like a slushy like paste, so you could spread it around a lot better. And I want to say it helps cool the ice down even more. I don't know. Don't Somebody fact check me. I don't know if alcohol and dry ice, if that makes it like super cold, makes it more effective or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and start breaking this stuff up in the bucket, add a little bit of the rubbing alcohol, and then essentially just, I guess, throw it on the sound deadening and give it like 5 or 10 minutes. And I heard that it should crack probably, like you could hear the sound deadening like kind of cracking and separating, and then we'll just try and pry it off. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so it's been about 5 minutes, and I was just able to get this chunk off. I was just seeing if it was ready, and I think it is. So I just got this little spackle knife thing, and it seems to be just kind of pulling it up in chunks. Throw that stuff down there, because that's the next spot we're going to. Ooh! Ah! Don't do that on your own car. That burns. Get out of there. Try not to do that at home when you're doing this. Right, so I got all the dry ice in. It's actually working pretty well. I just finished up the trunk, and I put a whole new batch right here on where the rear seats would be. I'm just letting this soak in for a little while. It's looking good though. I mean, the back came out very smooth. Like, it looks great. There's not anything left over at all. So hopefully these rear seat area will come out as smooth as the trunk did. Alright guys, so in total, this is all we got out from behind the seats, and that was the trunk. This is the finished product. It's still sizzling a little bit, and it's kind of dirty. I gotta clean it, but all in all, it came out really good, and it was fairly easy. It was this side was a little bit harder because I didn't let it sit on there as long, but like this side was sitting as I was scraping this side. So by the time I finished this side and moved to that side came off in like less than 5 minutes. So I'd say big success on that. I gotta go get something to drink. It's really hot out here in Florida, so. And big shout out to Cody for coming and filming for me, because I wouldn't be able to move the camera around and squeeze all around this trunk with those big gloves on. So we're gonna let some of this ice melt, and I guess we'll come back and just kind of wipe it down, and that'll be it for now until we get the cage prepped up and ready, and then we can get that welded in fairly shortly. So I'll get back with you guys. All right guys, so we got all the sound deadening out, which is great. I had to stop there for the day. I have some things to go do tonight, but I wanted to get the sound deadening out, which I was able to do. I wanted to get all the paneling, which I was able to do, and I wanted to build those ramps. So I got pretty much everything done that I had to get done today. The only thing I really wanted to do was go give the car a good wash and clean up the inside. The inside's still kind of a mess, and it's all wet from the ice and whatnot. So we are one step closer to getting the half cage in, if we choose to do that. Still kind of on the fence about harness bar versus welding in the cage. And actually another option could be bolting this cage in, which would be, I think, a little bit more work than just kind of putting some welds on it. Having to drill through and get plated, like dual plates on top and bottom. It also won't be as sturdy. I mean, it'll be very sturdy because it'll have like, I don't know, like 24 bolts in it or something when it's all said and done. But I mean, compared to welds, you really can't beat the quality of like plated welds and whatnot. So, but anyway, guys, I hope this video helped you out a little bit. If you are planning on removing some sound deadening in your future, or if your race car doesn't quite make it on your trailer and you need to, you know, find a better way. I haven't tested the ramps yet. I just kind of put them together and jumped right into the car. But I will test them out soon, make sure it works, and I'll definitely let you guys know in the next video whether that worked out or not with helping the car get on and off. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys found it very informative. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below any questions you had about anything, and I'd love to hear you guys' input on cage versus harness bar. So make sure you leave those comments down below, and if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe. I'm coming out with videos every week, and they're fantastic. And next drift event is in, I think, two or 3 weeks, so stay tuned for that. And until next time then, I will see you guys in the next video.